Hello friends, so today I'm going to show you how to create this amazing intro in After Effects. The original intro might have been created using the raw camera footages and text might have been added into the post-production process. But we're gonna create this intro from scratch in After Effects without any video footages. This is the intro of a series called Fauda and it's available on Netflix. If you have not watched this series yet, I would recommend you to go and watch it, especially if you like action genre. So let's just start this. Okay, so here we have our blank composition. First, I'm going to show you what are the references that I have got, and we're going to create three shots of this intro. Uh, this is the first shot, and it has a text in the center. It has a shadow, which is partially written in English, and the other part is written in Arabic. Then we have a vignette effect around the corners, and there's a light falling, especially on this particular area, and it is a grungy cemented wall background. Then we have our second reference, which is almost same with the production house logo, and it has a shadow of an object. Then we have our third frame, which is the main title, and if you see, the light is covering very less area in this particular frame as compared to the first short reference. First of all, we're gonna create a blank composition, so you can just go and create a new composition of 4K. I'm just gonna call this as background because this will contain our background images. So here I have gathered two textures of a concrete wall. So let's just bring these two textures together into the composition. We'll just bring it here. Okay, the textures are way bigger than our composition, so we're gonna scale these textures down. I'm gonna put this damage on top of this. I'm keeping this margin to move because if you see in the actual footage the camera is moving, so we're gonna move this background in the third shot. So we are just keeping it like this. We have this ready. Now what we're gonna do is we want to see the detailing of both the textures, so I'm just gonna put this as a multiplier, so it will be multiplied with the base textures. And now I'm gonna, so if we see our first reference, I'm gonna bring it here in my layer and we'll just scale it up to cover our composition because we're gonna make this as a reference and we'll make everything exactly like this. So here if you see the detailing and the spots are a bit more in this particular area, these are less. So what we're gonna do is we'll just hide this. I'm gonna put this particular spot on top left, so I'll just scale this and I'll just unlink the scale and we'll make our vertical scale by -57, so it will come on the top. I'm gonna remove the reference now, and we have this background composition ready. Now we gonna create our new composition. This will be our main composition, and we'll bring our background composition in this one. Okay, to match the colors, just take the reference of this one here. Now if we see, the color is, it has yellow tint and brown detailing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a tint over this, and it has contrast, so I'm gonna put some contrast on this. We have our background ready. I'll just enable this. Okay, now we're gonna put some text on top of this. I'm just gonna write and now we have a shadow and which is partially in Arabic and this is in English. You can just duplicate this layer and put it down, bring it down, but if I don't know how to write in Arabic, I'm not familiar with that particular language, So I just used Google Translator to convert this the second half, and I created an image in Photoshop because while I was writing this character in this it was creating something else and I was not familiar whether that correct word is correct or not. So I have this image I had created in Photoshop. I'm just gonna bring it down. Now if you see, the shadow is transparent and like it has less opacity than the actual font. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put bring the opacity to bring it lighter, and let me just turn off the reference. We have this. Now I'm gonna, and also the shadow is blurred. So if you see the actual footage, the shadow is blurred also. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this, we're gonna do camera lens blur. We'll apply to this particular layer. And reduce the opacity if it is looking too bright. Okay, so we are ready with our text and this. Now we're gonna create a vignette effect and we're gonna create a light. So to add the light, first of all, what we would need, we need to create these layers in 3D. So we need to convert these layers in 3D so that the light will affect these layers. And this will be our light. So the source of the light I'm choosing is a spot because the light was falling from this particular angle and it was going till here. So I'm gonna use this light. So if you see, the light source is here and our composition is here, so I'm gonna bring it closer to our composition. Now we need to adjust the properties of the light so that it will create the same effect. So first of all, we'll change the position of the light. So let's just increase this and take it towards the left. Now I'll just update the position as well. You can play with these properties to get the desired result. I had these values while I had created this, so these were the values which matched to the actual footage, so I'm just keeping it like that. So we have this frame ready. Now to create the reveal effect, we are creating this composition in 3 parts because we are covering 3 shots and the total length of the composition is 10 seconds, so approximately each shot will be of 3 seconds. So what we're gonna do is first of all we'll give the reveal effect. So I'm gonna animate the light, I'm gonna animate the position of the light and pointer of interest of the light. These two things are very important because if you are changing the position and without changing the point of interest, the light will start moving. It will not actually move, it will just rotate from its current position because it will try to keep the focus on a point of interest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this point of interest in position like this, and we'll also animate the intensity. So initially the intensity will be 0, it will be completely dark. For 1 second it will for more than 1 second we'll just reveal it for 99%. And also the color of the light we need to change because right now it is creating too yellowish because it's somewhere here. We're gonna create this little bit bright and in gray region. So here we have the intensity, and now we're gonna animate the position and point of interest. So the starting position is this, So I had these values noted while I created that. You can play around while you are creating this effect, or you can go and actually move your object and positions from here. It is easier to manage. So we'll go to active camera. Now we have this shot ready. We're gonna hold this intensity of light 99% for next keyframe, which is here. I'm going to create the keyframe here. So what it will do, first of all, it will animate the intensity from 0 to 99, and then it will keep the intensity from 99 to 99 itself for some amount of period, and then it gonna dull it down. So we're gonna put this as 0. So we have covered 3.5 seconds. So let me just pull this and bring it here so that it covers 3.5 seconds and has enough effect to reveal, then enough effect to go. Okay, now we have this thing ready. The light is moving throughout, so we're gonna shift these keyframes from here till this part. So while the intensity is animating, the position will also animate till that time. So our first shot is ready. For second shot, we're gonna create another layer which will contain our production house logo. So first of all, we need to cut these layers till here because their job is done. So we're gonna keep this clean. We'll just keep it like this. Now for the second shot, we need the background, we need the light effect in a same way. So we'll just drag our logo over here. I'll just put it somewhere here. We'll make it 3D so that it will be on the. Now we're gonna animate the light again. So what we're gonna do is we'll just copy the keyframes and we'll just paste it over here. So what will happen now, if you just pull this will go down, and again it will take that position, it will give the same effect over here. I've kept the logo blurred, but if you want you can keep it like the original logo. This is just over the copyright and any trademark issue. Okay, here we have this thing ready. Now where we're gonna create the third part. So here till 8 seconds it is done. Now what we're gonna do is we gonna create this. We'll just keep the light. Okay, now we are not going to use this spotlight further, so we'll just cut it down till here, and now we have a second layer in which the light is there, but I'm gonna change the type of the light because here we need the point light. Let's change this type of the light and also just make the intensity 100 for a time being to just see where the light is falling, and then we can get just rid of this point of interest and add any other keyframe which is there in that particular layer. Okay, so this is our fresh light which we have here. I'm gonna shift this position to the center. Now we'll just write our text. We can keep our third shot reference here. And we have a shadow in Arabic, so I have this written in Photoshop, but you can write it here if you know the Urdu language. these two layers we need in this particular footage only, so I'm gonna start it from here only. And here if you see the shadow is in black and it has less opacity, it has feather and everything. So what we're gonna do for this, we're gonna apply some layer style and just say color overlay, and we'll just apply the black color to this. So now we need to adjust the light. So if you see in the third frame, the title is very bright, and the light is actually not affecting the title that much, but it has some darkness around the corner. So we can do one thing, we can get rid of this, we can keep this text out of the effect of the light, and then we can just mask it and to get this darkness around the edges. I think that will help. So we're gonna do is we're gonna first of all let's get rid of this. We'll just get rid of this 3D layer, so now it is not affected from the light. But we can do one thing, we can create a mask on this particular layer. Now we're gonna animate this to reveal. So first we will just do the intensity. Now if I'm increasing the intensity, the shadows are still appearing. You know why? Because the shadow layer is not marked as 3D. We'll just mark it as 3D. So what we're gonna do is, first of all we will just keep it here, and we'll animate the opacity of the text as well as of the shadow. So we'll just keep the opacity as 0 here. So we have this thing ready also. Now it's the time to add the camera movement and the motion in this. So if you see here, the light is moving from right to left, so we need to move the shadows from left to right. So what we're gonna do is we'll just go here and we'll animate the shadow. Another thing is if you increase the distance between these two, so it might not match with the speed of the light, so it's better to just give a subtle movement to the shadow so that it looks like when the light is moving, the shadow is moving accordingly. Similarly, if in this particular shot the shadow was also moving but the background was also moving, so in this particular shot what we're gonna do is, first of all we will move the shadow. Will have subtle shadow movement, and it's time from 8 seconds to 10 plus seconds we need to move the background. So we'll go here, we'll put the keyframes, or what we can do, we can create a new null object and we'll make this as a child of our null object. Then we'll just move the null object and both the background footages will move. So the background is the camera is moving from right to left, so the background will move from left to right. Another details that I want to add is to add a crack in the wall. So for that what we're gonna do is, first of all I'll just delete this reference and just enable this reference. I'm gonna create this crack in the wall as well. So for that you can do one thing. You can just enable this layer and just choose a pen tool and then deselect any layer. And I'm gonna make a crack in the wall. Now we have our crack ready. You can control the thickness of the crack using this stroke, just keeping it thin. Let's say 15. Okay, so we have our crack ready. I'll just deselect to show you the crack. Okay, now what we can do is we go to the crack. There's an option where you can add some effect to the crack. So our crack is ready. Now we're gonna animate this crack when the composition is moving. So what we're gonna do is, for that we're gonna put a trim path property in this, and then we can adjust the start and end of it. So if you decrease the end of it, it will form accordingly. So I'm gonna animate this property. I'll just keep it 0, and this crack is forming till two shots. So we'll just put the end as 0 here. Now we have this ready. What we're gonna do is we're gonna animate the camera also, because the whole composition is moving. And if you see in the actual intro, the wall is coming in front of the camera. So how we're gonna create this wall is, we're just gonna create a new solid. Let's say wall. Keep it here, and we will animate this. Now if you see, it should not spill the light here, because it's actually the transition between two shots. So what we're gonna do is we can just animate this position. We'll keep it over here and we'll animate it further. So it will start from here and will go like this. Okay, at this particular time our next shot is ready to appear. So we have this shot. So what we can do here, we want this wall to reveal this. So we're gonna animate this wall in such a way that it will show in that particular shot also, and it should go out of the view. Now it has a big margin where you can cut this part in your post edit, but I'm just keeping it right now. Okay, now we have this thing also. Now it's time to add a camera movement. So what we're gonna do is we gonna create a camera. We'll show two views horizontal. We'll have a camera. We'll see it from the top. Where is it? So it has the camera. Now first of all, the camera should cover this thing. So we gonna, if you see here, the camera is covering the full thing. It will not have a margin to move. If it will move, the composition will go out of place, out of the frame. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift this camera a little bit closer, and then we're gonna animate this camera from left to right. So I'm just keeping it here. Now in the second shot, if you see, we have a shadow of an object. And that is the interesting part, how we can create this without any object. So if you see in this particular frame we have, sorry, in this particular frame we have the shadow. Okay, so we can create this using an image or using the masks. So I'm gonna create a mask which will have this region cut out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new solid composition with the same mask. Will bring out my second reference on top of this. Keep this layer selected. I'll draw a mask. Okay, let's just keep the mask like this. Let's see first of all how the mask is appearing. So the mask area is black, the other area is visible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these masks, we'll just change it to subtract. Now we're gonna expand this and we'll just adjust the feather of all the masks so it will have a lighter shadow. And after everything we're gonna put the opacity to 33. Okay, now just remove this reference image, bring this layer on top of the background, and just have this layer only visible for your second shot. So you can just keep it like this, cut it here, delete this part, and here we have the shadow. Okay, I moved the background, my bad, sorry. I'm gonna put this here. Okay, so you have the shadow also. Now you can just move the shadow from left to right and then scale it to give you to give that particular effect. So I'm gonna do one thing, I'm gonna put this as this. I'll just animate the transform of it.